Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we are doing another response video, because these are hilarious. It's always nice to see someone's casual racism surface, manifest, when they articulate a point so asinine, they may as well have just pulled out a clan club card. These, to me, make me chuckle. Why? Because, honestly, why would anyone want to casually be racist, whether inadvertent or not, to try and own the dreaded white person, the fabled, soon-to-be mythical because they're running out of people, white ones. They'll soon be the old ones. They will eventually be bred out of existence, and the menace that is the white people will end with them. Which is of course the point, is it not? Is that not the whole point of this? Even if they were only 1% of the world's population, they would be 99% of the world's problems. Why? Because they exist. And solving the problem of them is easier to simply breed out of existence than it is to simply address the root causes of the problem, which apparently can't be solved. So, response video from TikTok. Let's see how this one goes.
Anti-fat bias and weight stigma have historical roots in racism and white supremacy.
You're absolutely right, because there has never ever been a fat person in history that hasn't been white. Or been fat because of white people. I love revisionist history, don't you all? It's why many countries have systems for classes, some caste systems. The higher up you are, the fatter you get, because you have access to all those lovely resources. But don't worry everyone, because even during the time of the Byzantine Empire, it's okay, they all had treadmills. They were regularly going for 10-mile jogs in the morning, maybe the odd power walk to work. And as we all know from our history, China is solely made entirely of rice, so they have never ever had someone ever higher up or around their country that's fat. In fact, go to any country, no one's fat unless they're white, or made to be fat because of white supremacy. I love history, don't you?
Every time I say this, I get some really weird comments, so just to be really clear, no, I've never heard anyone say you're racist for wanting to lose weight.
Based on the size of your TikTok channel and how many views you get per, let's say, video, average, with only 1 or 2 actually getting over 1,000, I'm inclined to believe you get 1 or 2 comments at best that say these things, but you're trying to make it seem like it's more of an issue than it really is. TikTok is one of those platforms where I firmly believe that unlike everywhere else where hard work pays off, in this it's just a case of throw everything at the wall and whatever sticks, there you go. Just milk it. If at all anything I just said made you think I sounded like a dick, you're right. But I'm okay with it here. And to address your comment of the whole, no, I've never heard someone say you're racist for wanting to lose weight. I'm waiting for the word but. Just that one word. The one word that could turn everything around.
What's meant by saying this is that throughout history, fat bodies were praised and even admired in various cultures and time periods.
So what you've said is but, without saying the word but. That's quite clever. You can tell you're an academic, overcomplicating a simple 3-letter word by inserting a dozen words so you don't have to say but. But you've also undone something else, where you've spoken about how something is tied into white supremacy, but then spoken about different cultures, which implies different races. No doubt all impacted negatively because of the whiteness. The pleasantly plump must be appreciated at all costs, people. The pleasantly plump must always be appreciated. And this anti-fat bias, that's what this is everyone. This anti-fat bias is unacceptable. You shall be purged when the time is right. Because only the pleasantly plump master race will persist.
That is until the Enlightenment era, when fat bodies became associated with black bodies, especially the bodies of black women.
Personally, I associated it with alcoholism. I associated it with lazy people. I associated it with the era of, what do you call those, the E-numbers, the mass-produced foods that weren't actually foods. The era of fast food, which is also laziness, I guess. Anything that didn't involve you going out hunting your stag, your cow, your pig, foraging for suitable vegetables like rats, mice, moles, voles, badgers. They're good vegetables, they're wanting a 5 a day, I hear. And then summarily consuming all raw, like the Liver King. Because we're manly mean.
That work all night and sleep all day.
Now, I personally, in all seriousness, jokes aside, never thought for 1 second that it would ever be aligned or attributed to those of a race for being themselves pleasantly plump. not going to call them fat, because I don't want to get demonetized. But if historically it was associated with one race, what does it say about people now, when it's mostly pleasantly plump white people that complain about them not being accepted for being pleasantly plump? So pleasantly plump, they have a gravitational pull.
Later on, scientists who subscribed to beliefs like social Darwinism used body size as a marker of racial inferiority.
There are two versions of a definition according to Google on what social Darwinism is. As far as I was aware, it is simply the belief of survival of the fittest. According to History.com, social Darwinism has been used to justify imperialism, racism, eugenics, and social inequality at various times over the past century and a half. Wikipedia, because obviously another credible source, social Darwinism refers to various theories and societal practices that purport to apply biological concepts of natural selection and survival of the fittest to sociology, economics, and politics, and which were largely defined by scholars in Western Europe and North America in the 1870s. So big shock, ideas and theories like this were quite popular, certainly during that time, where things like certain forms of slavery were quite popular. With it also being applied to Western Europe and North America, can you consider any of that a surprise? The idea of survival of the fittest, though, is quite applicable. You can remove race from it entirely and apply it to simply say, if this world had an apocalypse, the the pleasantly plumpies are going first. Not because of anything gauche like cannibalism, although we're not taking that off the table. Why would we? We all need our sustenance and liquid refreshment, and we do like to eat pork. But simply because you have to adjust, adapt, and survive. Not everyone can be Hurley on Lost and magically remain the same size for 6 seasons.
And that perpetuated the idea that it's bad for white people, especially white women, to be fat because it would make them more like black people.
I think we see enough trailer trash white girls trying to look like black women without them having to get fat as well. And I think we can all agree here, a lot of them who did that solely did it because they wanted to appeal, certainly back then, to a more exotic brand of man. Which wasn't surprising considering as time progressed the taboo, while becoming less of a taboo, it still became titillating enough to pursue what was initially a narrow-minded novelty, that then became a narrow-minded novelty with severe consequences, and a large number of statistics that really didn't do anyone any favours, and set a few relations back a few decades.
I highly encourage you to listen to Black scholars who have talked about this subject extensively, like Dr. Sabrina Strings, who wrote the book Fearing the Black Body, The Racial Origins of Fat Phobia.
Well, I do appreciate the recommendation for novels to read. I'm going to stick to ones that start with the following: Harry Potter and the Mortarion, Harry Potter and the Rogel Dawn, Harry Potter and the any other Games Workshop related book that I want to read because I'm into science fiction or fantasy based on that particular genre, because I'm not going to waste my time reading, well, crap. And that's mostly because I could not anymore care about the historical relevance of why people are the way they are. I only care about solving the problem. How do you solve a problem of obesity? By ceasing in the enabling of the pleasantly plump, a large number of whom really do take a large dump on the word pleasantly, and take full liberty with the word plump. You see, that's the mindset I've always had, seeking to find a solution to a problem instead of looking for reasons why the problem exists. A solution to it should involve that, I'll agree, but in the context of this, all you are seeking to do is drive us all back to the very start to overcomplicate a remarkably simple solution. Cut the sugars and the carbs, get on the treadmill, and perhaps your legs won't be so tight in the jeans you've always wanted to wear. I'm not a fan of fat acceptance, okay? Body positivity, in the context of all shapes and sizes, I can fully support. Now, I took the liberty of looking at the rest of your content on your TikTok channel, and I found it quite fascinating because a lot of it is vastly overcomplicated stuff. And I call it stuff because it was. It's remarkable really when somebody goes into something as an academic, they have to overcomplicate everything to make it seem like it's more prophetic. No, it's more pathetic. It doesn't make you more empathetic either to understand a situation. No, it means you spent far too much time looking at the problem rather than looking for a way to solve it. I've often found that to be quite tragic, but that is often the case with academics, not understanding the social aspect too much, or seeking a problem that has a solution, instead seeking for a problem that keeps them in an occupation because they can't be asked to do anything original.